but it's fine.
And we are, I think, live, maybe? Hard to tell.
I'm stuck watching AJ Knickel, so this is going to be fun. Can't really.
Oh, yeah, because I'm, yeah, okay, alright, yeah, alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're here for the 4th round of the ARC Indycar Championship, which takes us to the Indy GP circuit. We have a full grid going into this, and I expect we'll have an even bigger grid for the 5th round, which will be the Indy 250. But for now, we have road course racing, which I'm a lot better at commentating that. Despite that, I won't actually be the only commentator tonight.
Oh, this is where you want me to go. All right.
Yes.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. It's been a while. My name is Alan Cavagnaro. As you remember, it's been a very long time since I've been in the art commentary booth, and it's been a long time since I've been on track. I should be on track tonight, but I had a little mishap in qualifying or pre-quali, and I was one of the cars knocked out, and that's okay, because you guys get the nice opportunity to have me in the booth as well, which I'm, so psyched to be back, Riker.
You see, we got a completely different voice when you take over commentary. You sound like some weird Johnny Bravo, Alan Bestwick combo, and I can't quite explain it. Anywho, we are on board currently with Andrew David in the 83. I don't think he was the first person to start a lap, but he's the first person I noticed. Actually, he might have been, because that car got out of his way.
He's been flying around the track so far, and I've been watching, and he only has I think 10 or 11 liters of fuel, and he's really only going to be setting 1 or 2 laps. He's going to head back in the pits, and he's going to give it one more run. I think what a lot of these guys are, they're going to try and set some rubber down on the track, try and warm up the tires, see and try and feel which lines are going to be good to run, because some of these corners you could take multiple lines, which is quite interesting here at Indy Road, and some of these are just kind of nailed to curb. So it's really feeling out the track, seeing where debris could fall if a crash were to occur. But yeah, I think we have around 7-8 minutes left to qualifying, and I think a lot of these guys, for them it's go time.
Yeah, we're gonna get plenty of laps per driver here, since every lap's just over 1:10. So you kind of have that lenience to take 1 or 2 laps, go back into the pits, come back out, and run 2 better laps. The first set of times are coming in. The fastest among them, definitely Jonathan Jurgensmeyer's 1:10.2. Well clear of the other 2 drivers that have finished flying laps so far.
Yeah, and Jurg is he's an interesting driver. I mean, not only with the unique last name, but he's really quick, and that's something I've noticed from coming back to ARC is you're always gonna have some new faces, new drivers, always up front fighting for wins. And last Project Cars race I did last week, he ended up winning at Monaco in the Porsche Cup. And Jurg, he's on a wheel, he's very smooth, a very quick driver. I think any team would be lucky to have him, as he right now is a 10th quicker on his own fastest lap, and Jurg right now looks to be the man to beat in qualifying.
Well, we've only had a few drivers go. We don't quite know what the full field's capable of. The ones to watch in ARC IndyCar are generally Matthew Stotts, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, and Dylan Bam and AJ Knickel. At least that's what I've noticed so far. I believe Jurgensmeyer has actually just come off a win in the previous round, as he gets into the 109s with that lap we just rode on board with, 109.94. His teammates also taking up second and third on his JSR teammates. Scarborough second and Fidel Fabian third on the board at the moment.
Yeah, so as we have roughly 5 minutes left. We have, it looks like 5 drivers that have not set a lap yet. And just a reminder, Logan Cool will not be setting a lap in qualifying because he has that qualifying penalty. So there will be 15 drivers setting laps today here in Indianapolis. So, Riker, I mean, we have just a couple minutes left, knowing the first couple of races, since, I've missed the first couple of races. Who would you say is the person to be in qualifying, coming into Indianapolis? I mean, we've gone to Long Beach, we've gone to Coda. Those are heavy road courses with some heavy braking zones, and here you're roughly going to have the same thing in turns 1 and coming up in this corner right here. Who do you think is going to be the person to be in qualifying?
Dylan Bam has just made a pretty good case for himself. He ran a 109.8 in the background. He's always been a qualifying guy, but he sometimes has problems remaining consistent in race pace. So, for qualifying, I think the guy to watch is Dylan Bam, but he has to be mindful of his own self later.
Yeah, I guess you could call him the Rocket Man of the Indycar series. He goes only half a tenth quicker than Jonathan Juergensmeyer with just a few minutes left. And really the top three, or I mean, I guess the top two are really close to each other. You know, less than a tenth, but after that it's split up between half of a second.
Oh, too much rocket fuel. And Matthew Stotts, yep, that's the one. Those are the names I said. They've taken up the top 4 spots on the starting grid so far. Matthew Stotts also ran a 109.73. And then he immediately returns to the pit lane. AJ Knickel also the 110.4. He jumps to 4th, but he's got some ground to make if he's going to even get anywhere near a pole lap. And he's just made some progress on it. He's 2/10 up on Sector 1.
Yeah, and you can never count out Knickel. I mean, he's 2/10 up in his lap that's 7/10 behind. I mean, you know, the all-time ARC leader in wins, championships, you can name it. You know, you can never rule him out. You know, whether he's driving on a little pad that's broken with 3 buttons missing, or he's on a wheel, a T20, or whatever you call it, you can never count him out. You know, Knickel is always going to be running up front no matter what circumstances he has against him. So keep an eye on that, I think, 6 car as we approach the end of qualifying.
And how much did he pay you to say that? No. He doesn't need to pay anybody to say that. He has his own Instagram page and all that, so.
I'm curious about Francis Ferran, though. Look at that, 15th. He's 22 seconds behind. I don't think he's set a fast lap yet, unless that's the best he can. I mean, Francis, he's good on the wheel, and, you know, he's been quick.
If that were the best he could do, he wouldn't have made the race. You should know that.
105 or 107% rule.
Yeah. Or also just because he'd have qualified instead.
Yeah. I think we have 2 minutes left, unless that's the time left of
I know, that's 2 minutes in the session.
Okay, just making sure. So he has some time to improve, and, you know, Ferran has run well in Project Cars as of recently, since, you know, HRT signed him. He ran well in Monaco Porsche Cup. He ran somewhat well in Long Beach until incidents hindered him. And, you know, I mean, Francis definitely has the pace to really run up front. He just needs to be a little bit more consistent with a lot of those runs that he has. And he almost won the Monaco Grand Prix last week for AF1. So, you know, keep an eye on Francis as a sort of a underdog or dark horse, if you will. You know, he has the pace. He just needs to string together some of these results and, you know, keep himself off of other cars. I think he has a good shot for a good top 5 finish.
Yeah, I'd probably put him in somewhere in like the 6th or 7th fastest car on this field. Which is probably one of the more competitive fields I think we've seen in ARC history, because you look at the lap times, minus him, the difference between first and last is not even 2 seconds. And the lap we've just seen, I think Francis is about to get somewhere in the middle of that himself.
At the line, he's improved 20 seconds, but he's still 15th.
And Dylan Bam just really followed him there and runs a 109.5. And Stotts is in the pit lane. He's not going to get a chance to take that away, but Juergensmeyer is.
Let's see how much Jurg can improve through the final corner. The sweeping right-hander as he's going to merge onto the banking. The right-hander, 5th gear into 6th gear, up to 60, up to 170 miles per hour. He improves, but still 2nd place, half a tenth behind Dylan Bam.
He'll have another shot at it. Dylan Bam's in the pit lane, so he and AJ are the biggest contenders, but he's missed turn 1.
He's binned it.
Yeah, he's missed T1, and that session for him is over. We'll see if AJ Knickel has something to pull out of the hat, but, well, we didn't get to see a sector loop there, so I don't know if he's close or not.
Oh, Scarborough just jumped Knickel for 4th.
And 109.1. No! Bit of a problem under braking, and that's Knickel's session over. He won't be getting back in time.
And it's interesting that these guys are going to start right next to each other, Scarborough and Knickel. They've had some heat as of lately. If you've been watching, you know, F1, both at Barcelona and Monaco, you know, they've had many incidents colliding together in both races. So keep an eye on those two as we enter the you know, Indianapolis GP. They're going to be starting next to each other, so we may see some contact with them as well.
I'm almost betting on it. As even
How
AJ's
much you wanna
teammate
bet?
Matthew Daly jumps over AJ. It's not been the Canadians' best qualifying, to say the least.
Yeah, and if I recall, I mean, Francis Ferran has jumped himself up a little bit. I'm still struggling to find his name up there because my eyesight's terrible.
He's the guy in 13th, and he's just run off heading towards the banking. So his session's over with that, but he's not starting last, and I think he might be more of a race pace guy here in IndyCar. Something else I didn't quite mention, I was a bit distracted. Yeah, well, you mentioned Logan Cool has got a qualifying penalty. This is his first IndyCar start since his suspension at Daytona. And also, Kyler Boggs returns to the IndyCar grid for the first time in, I think, close to a year. This is his first start, as was only going to be an appearance at the Indy 250, then became an oval driver, and then now suddenly he's like, oh look, I'm a road course guy now. In a matter of about a couple of days, when he originally rejoined the league to be an article writer for our Wix site, I think that's what it is.
I mean, it's interesting how these things play out. I mean, first, ARC wanted to bring him in as a blog writer, and he has the education for all that, and he makes a great blog writer here and there. But I think he really wanted to get back behind the wheel, and I think when 44R offered him a full-time seat to sort of return, and knowing how good their setups are, it was a no-brainer for him. He had to accept the contract. I think all of us understand it. And like I said, I wish I would be behind the wheel today in the race, but unfortunately, I'm not there right now. I'll be there next week for the Indy 250, but...
And as per tradition, a quick grid rundown while we're in this little strategy screen. Pole goes to Dylan Bam. Rocket Man claims another pole position. Jonathan Juergensmeyer starts second over Matthew Stotts, Jake Scarborough, Matthew Daly, who's really the only degree of separation between himself and AJ Knickel. Not really sure where that's going to go. Travis Van Oostendorp starts in 7th. Julian Lozano with the breakout qualifying for him with 8th. Tyler Crabtree starts 9th. Fidel Fabian starts 10th. Kyler Boggs 11th. Gabe Cazola starting 12th. Francis Farrand, I keep screwing that up. Farrand starts 13th. Carter Ritchie 14th. Andrew Davis, I always screw that one up, 15th. And Logan Cool will start last due to said qualifying ban.
I mean, I'd be happy to make the race.
Yeah, at least let him do that.
So, as we get ready for the race to start, I mean, what are we expecting the first 5 laps? Are we expecting carnage? Are we expecting a nice green flag run, which is quite rare to come by in the IndyCar series? What are we thinking?
I'm expecting somebody's going to do it wrong in the T1, collect a bunch of cars. We're going to have a lap 1 caution, and then maybe, just maybe, on the second time of asking on the safety car restart, we might get some green running.
Oh, here we go. Syncing and getting ready for the race to begin. Red lights, here we go. The 3 red lights, and we're green for the IndyCar race, the Indy GP at Indianapolis.
We tell the camera's super far away. Everyone's changing lanes like it's a drag race. I don't know why I said that. That's actually...
Is that Knickel? No, it's
Matthew Stotts. His automatic gear race starts have given him the race lead. Matthew Daly is going to follow him through to 3rd. AJ Knickel with an absolute shocker of a start down to 10th.
It's funny, some of these cars look too familiar. I thought that was Knickel for a second. As Fabian Green, Fidel jumps over the chicane there as they're squandering, looking for a position as we approach this corner. And I guess I have to be a little shocked. They've been clean so far. I know we're halfway through the lap, but there's only 1 car in the back, and I'm not entirely sure who that is. But single file so far. Jurg running well, single file as I'm quite impressed.
Everyone survived. There's a lot of people, big losers and winners on this race start. Another one of those being Kyler, who went from 11th to 7th off the grid. Obviously, Stotts took the lead off the grid. Julian Lozano versus Juergensmeyer. Teammates in alliance, but not in direct teammates. But they're getting a bit physical. But Juergensmeyer is going to pull back ahead. But it looks like Lozano's on the push to pass. What is going on up there?
Yeah, Dylan Bam retook the lead off the final corner. Stotts got in the curbing and really lost it there, but Dylan Bam regains the lead from pole position after losing it on the opening lap. The first two have gotten away. Well, there's a battle for third place behind between, it looks to be Travis Van Oostendorp and the other car he's battling. But yeah, no, a lot of battling right now, and single file action while we're going at it. Julian Lozano there is defending right now from Fidel. But yeah, no, everything looks to be single file, and I think Fidel may actually try and make a move here. Looks, but
he's gonna peek,
thinks better of it.
And also a driver that had a big problem was Jurgensmeyer. He was fighting Julian for 6th, but I guess they must have made some contact. He's back in 12th, and he's not 13th, excuse me, and he's not really looking like himself either.
Yeah.
Looks like Fidel Fabian might have a chance at Lozano this time.
Yeah. So,
it doesn't quite break late enough. Can he try a crossover?
He may get switch back here.
Not quite. You'll have the better exit,
but I think he's
going to
have the run. He's going to have the run off the final corner, and if he uses the push to pass, he'll have him in the first corner. Fidel Fabian right behind Lozano. As you can see, another battle further up with Van Oostendorp, and it looks to be the
Matthew
20
Daly
there, right? And I can't... Yeah.
Yeah, one of the newer guys, so it doesn't surprise me you don't know him by name, but Daly will defend 3rd place successfully, and Fidel could not find anything for the DHL machine.
Well, you forget, in my view, I can't read the names unless it's, you know, above, unless you're, like, you're spectating them.
Andrew Knickel's running 9th, but he's missing half of his front wing, so that certainly explains his misfortunes. He's got huge damage. He can't even get up to 150 down the back straightaway.
And want to know what? We talked about it in qualifying. Him and Scarborough have some beef, and guess who's in the pits? Guess who's in the pits?
Context clues. I mean, can't say 100%. He's not the only car that ended up back there, but it doesn't look... It looks awfully incriminating, you know?
Maybe it's just a coincidence. Who knows?
I kind of hope so. I'm kind of tired of seeing those two blow up at each other all the time and dragging us other moderators into it all the time, but that's a story for another day. We're supposed to be commentating here.
Speaking of a good story, Kyler Boggs up to 5th place on his return. Good run for Kyler Boggs. You know, he's right now trying to trail down Travis Van Oostendorp for 4th place. Good run for him so far. I don't want to jinx it yet. It's only lap 4, but he's running well so far.
Yeah, he had that good start, and he's just been snowballing from there. He gained 4 on the first lap, and he's gained 2 more since. On multiple JSR machines, both Jurgensmeyer and Fabian, he's passed them.
Yeah, and he's only used 1 push to pass so far, as you can look to the bottom right. So he has still 9 more to use, and and he overshoots it.
I looked away at the wrong time because I saw Fidel Fabian was catching Lozano again. I've done that many times as a commentator. I've looked at something for like a minute, and then the second I look away, something silly happens, and I'm like, oh, what?
There you go. Anyway, Francis Ferran, he's picking up pace, like he said in qualifying. He's more of a race pace kind of guy, and he's up in 9th place. He just made easy money of Logan Cool behind him, and he's looking to improve and pass some more cars that are in front of him. Right now he's catching Gabe Cazzola.
And Matthew Stotts is going to make his early mandatory pit stop. I don't know if that's the boldest claim here, because tire wear is pretty bad here. We got quite some high abrasion corners. It's not quite like Long Beach.
It was not mandatory.
Well, it's not mandatory, no, but he likes to short pit, and he likes to pit very... It might just be muscle memory that he picks lap 4 every time, but...
Yeah.
Like that, that pit stop was way too short for him to have fixed damage. But now he's sort of on his own little island.
Yeah, he probably just had to swap out the tires, to be completely honest.
Yeah, that puts him, though, in a good spot, though, because if we get a caution, I should say when we get a caution, let's face it, IndyCar kind of breeds those. How quickly these things just sort of disintegrate when you look at them funny.
So right now we're watching Julian Lozano fending off Fidel Fabian from right behind, but he's gaining on Kyler Boggs, and You know, he's getting ready for a big weekend, and so is everyone else. You know, they're right after this, they're going to prepare for the Indy 250. A lot of these guys have not done the Indy 250 in their lifetime in ARC, so it's really going to be an interesting race next week. But right now we have the GP right in front of us, and yeah, no, I'm just excited to see how next week goes and how this race could transpire into the next one.
And I mean, this little small train, Kyler, Lozano, and Fabian, is really the only group of cars that are super close together. Every car is like a dude, like 8-9 apart at the moment, pretty much.
Yeah, and Dylan Bam has checked out. He is on a nice Sunday drive on a Monday. He is 6 seconds clear. And it's interesting, I think everyone's, headed into the week. I was reading the chats. Everyone said, Dylan is the guy we got to beat. We got to team up. Chevys and Hondas got to team up and unite against Dylan Bam. That's what I was reading, approaching this race. And, it makes sense. He's already at a 6.5 second lead, and we're not even halfway into this race. That was just one of his slower laps, and he's still pulling away from the car behind him. And, Matthew Daly, it's unfortunate because, you're running second. You'd think you'd be close to the leader, but, the leader is 6 seconds in front of you. So hopefully you get a safety car that can change things up for him. But right now, Dylan Bam, he's running away with this thing.
Yeah, but I've seen enough ARC races to know that Dylan Bam's worst enemy is named Dylan Bam. So I've seen many races where he's been in this sort of situation where he seems almost untouchable. But the only person that can touch him is himself. That doesn't sound right. The only person that can take this lead away from Dylan Bam is himself. And I've seen him do it before.
Yep. And I think if I look at the scoreboard now, Francis Ferran is up to 8th place. I think we've got a battle right now, or at least an eventual battle with 4th and 5th place.
Ooh, that was almost sketchy. I think Lozano just takes that corner differently from how Boggs does. He was on the push to pass there, too.
Yeah, Lozano is down another push to pass. He still has quite a bit more to go, and I think he's going to try and use one more, as Boggs is going to try and defend through the penultimate corner as we round the final corner on lap 7 coming to lap 8. And I guess, do you want to defend this hard this early in the race to wear those tires? Like you said, they wear quite quickly. A lot of these guys are on the sticker reds in this race, and I don't think he's going to gain anything down the straight, and I think he used a push to pass as well.
I know Kyler did, but Julian did not. Julian was topping out way too early for it to even be worth, but the huge gain on exit. I think Kyler Boggs kind of bogged down, pun not intended, out of 2. And that's going to allow Lozano to sneak right on through into 4th place.
Now,
and because they've battled,
I'm going to see if he uses a push to pass here, because I think it'd be quite interesting to see if he really pushes himself to retake this position in 4th. I don't think he's going to do it.
Oh, he's pushing Julian Lozano almost into the corner. And now, guess what? Fidel Fabian and Gabe Cazola have joined the party, as Kyler Boggs has spent so much time trying to fend Lozano off.
Yeah, this is going to be a good battle right here. It's really going to see if anyone's going to send it to the inside. I don't think they are. They're going to wait to go off the final corner as, running wide is Kyler Boggs. He's lost it. And around the outside, Fidel Fabian. They're going to be side by side. Now Fabian's off the track. They're Fabian, 3 wide. And through goes Gabe Cazola. What a move.
Through goes Hamilton.
Now he's going to defend it down the straightaway. Boggs is there. Boggs will take the outside. Inside is Cazola. Nowhere is Fabian. He was shafted out of that. And inside, Cazola has it clear for 4th. Or 5th,
and they both used push to passes there. And they just kind of evened out at the breaking point, but Cazola had the inside, and that's all he really needed, it seems.
Yeah,
things have kicked off there.
I think we had a battle further back. I think we were somewhat covering. I think it was not... Yeah, I think it was one of these green cars, to be completely honest. I can't recall who it was. But no, like I was saying, those types of battles is what makes me miss being in the commentary booth. It's so good to be back. We have a move right now. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer is going to try and defend, but around the outside goes his teammate. And he's going to have Knickel round the outside.
Yeah, that's not his teammate. That is his teammate, but that's not even for position. That is why he's letting him go. And he also let AJ Knickel go. I don't think he wanted to do that one so quickly, though, but... Scarborough's trying to pick his way back through the field. He's obviously got some pace, but he had that opening tangle with What?
Oh, contacted. Logan Cool has
Logan,
been hit.
Logan Cool, I think maybe got some understeer there, and he pits in. That gives AJ Knickel 15th. Not exactly where I expected to see a battle for position, but here we are.
No, but keep an eye on these guys. I want to see what happens.
Yeah, I'm just kind of glancing over at the leaderboard to see if anything else happens, but...
so Logan Cool's in the pits, Jurgensmeyer's in the pits. They're making their pit stops now before the halfway mark. AJ Knickel runs wide, and that's going to give momentum back to Scarborough now. He's not going to send it up the inside. He's too far back, but he's going to try and get a move on the straightaway. And look at those push to passes. He still has 10, and we're almost halfway into this race.
Yeah, he hasn't really been relevant, so he hasn't had anything to pass. So that's why those are still there. Meanwhile, in the current lap,
Francis is up to 7th now.
Yeah, yes, he is. A bit of a walk-up from him, though, that might give Fidel an opportunity to try and clap back, but it doesn't seem like he'll find much.
There. Yeah, may have a flat spot, but Fidel has the run off the final corner. These guys were teammates last week in F1, and if you recall, Fidel left by his teammate, or at least held up some lap cars or some other lead lap cars to help Francis get second there. And now they're a little bit of rivals, despite both running Hondas here. So it's a nice change of scenery for both of them.
Yeah, that's the way with how ARC works. Not every driver's on the same team everywhere. As Matthew Daly
is going to have a run here.
Yeah, Matthew Daly has been caught absolutely asleep at the wheel here, and Gabe Cazzola is going to try and take full advantage. Tries the outside, holds it there, now he's going to have the inside. What is the inside advantage? Matthew Daly sweeps back on the outside and survives for at least a moment, but Cazzola is still right there.
Yeah, he's going to be close enough to make a move to the inside, and that's why it looks to be he's defending there is Matthew Daly. But, Gabe Cazzola, he's going to stay single file. I think they're both going to stay out here for another lap or two to see how things file out. But, Gabe Cazzola, he's going to have the slipstream down the straightaway. Most notably, he's already used quite a few push-to-passes, so I'm going to see if he tries to use one more. But we're looking now at Jake Scarborough.
I guess I was, seeing the sector or the differences mess around. I was wondering if they were getting closer, but not really.
Yeah.
Although we are going to just kind of watch the the great parade down the front straightaway.
Meanwhile, through all these shenanigans, Dylan Bam is 10 seconds clear. I mean, some of these guys have pitted so far, but it's most notably, he's been pulling away. He has a race of his own, but like you said, his worst enemy is himself. So, we're just going to look down on our watches and see what happens. As we have a battle now again, same place, same as last lap, around the outside. Gabe Cazzola, I think he learns better. He's going to go back to single file. He's going to try and make a move. Not here, but he's going to try and do it off the corner and see if he can catch out Daly not defending off this corner. He's going to get a nice exit. I think it's slightly better. But again, Daly looking to the inside, defending to the inside, and back to the outside again. Cazzola, nothing working here, and single file. And again, no move on.
Just can't, that impenetrable Matthew Daly defense. It's not much of a defense, but it's enough. So, I would like to sort of mention is the point standings while you look at Andrew Davis here. I've had this open for 10 minutes, but I haven't actually set anything off of it. The current points leader is Matthew Stotts, who's currently on the ultimate strategy of strategies.
Down to the inside.
Depth perception escapes me, but Fidel Fabian will manage to cleanly defend through turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, Davis was trying to make an advantageous move there, but I think he decided he's going to try and go off the straight. He has quite a few push-to-passes left, and those sticker reds are still holding up for him. So, he's going to stay behind Fidel Fabian, and he's not close enough, so I'll have to wait another lap to try and make a good move.
He might not be on reds. The tire compound that the driver is on doesn't sync up for the broadcast. It'll look like everybody is on reds, but that's probably not the case, considering the track surface temperature is well over 120 degrees.
Good job, Slightly Mad Studios.
Trash them all you want. They've made a better game in 2016 than most developers can make in 2023, so...
That is very true.
Yeah, so Stott's maybe the points leader, but he's only up 1 point on Jonathan Juergensmeyer. But Juergensmeyer's had a bit of a nightmare, considering he's running 15th, a lap down. Gabe Gazola's third in points, and he's ironically in the best position right now, as Andrew Davis finally gets back down the inside, but he takes the board with him, and Fidel Fabian is going to somehow find a Honda car's width to go back up there.
Actually. He definitely has a slowdown. Yeah.
And now the car lap down of AJ Knickel is going to try and sort of sneak his way through.
Yeah, not for nothing. Might as well, you know, just trying to work your way through the field. Now we're looking at Gabe Cazola. Cazola is in 5th place in the top 5, and now he's trailing down and trying to work his way towards Matthew Daly, who sits in 4th place. But, you know, like we said, they're both somewhat high up in points, and I think they're going to try and go for anything here as we really approach the halfway mark. And I think now is sort of the time where we're thinking, okay, if we don't see a safety car, we're going to have to make some aggressive moves if we really want to move up. As into the pits goes Cazola. Never mind what I just said. Curious to see how Cazola is going to go about this.
Well, he's going to try and get there by undercutting Daly instead of driving faster. That's the F1 strategy. You can't go around, just go smarter.
As we have a couple other cars in the pits, it looks to be Francis Ferran, Fidel Fabian. Besides that, we have Andrew Davis and Tyler Crabtree all in the pits. And most notably, Crabtree, I think, has some sort of time penalty, as noted on the left-hand side of the screen. But leaving the pits, yeah,
he got looks like a speeding penalty based on that.
He may get that removed, but...
I mean, it's all situational. I just kind of ignore them if they're more than, like, individual 1-second pens that this game gives.
Yeah, and I think during this time, in little leeway that we have here, I think it's interesting to sort of note on the free agency moves that have happened in the past week. So, from what I recall, Tyler Crabtree has moved teams, and now he's driving for, I think, Turn T1A. And now he's driving the 61 machine in the Chevrolet. As we mentioned before, Kyler and Logan are back, both hopping back into IndyCars. And now we're looking at the race leader in the pits. Hopefully there's no speeding here, as like we said, his own worst enemy is himself. Others in the pits follow is Lozano and Matthew Daly, as we're looking now at Travis Van Oostendorp leaving his pit stall. As we have some time penalties here, Lozano and Kyler Boggs with some speeding penalties.
I don't think those are speeding penalties. I think those, if there were a speeding penalty, I think it'd be either 30 or a drive-through. I think they got those from what might have been probably some weird bug with entering the pits, because sometimes track limits get a little confused when you do that.
Yeah. Well, we'll see, but a good pit stop from Dylan Bam. He rejoins while in 2nd place, but that's because the car in front of him has not pitted yet.
Yeah, Carter Ritchie is going a little longer. Maybe he's trying to catch a surprise yellow, but with how spread out the cars are at the moment, I kind of doubt that.
Yeah, we haven't talked much about Carter Ritchie at all today, so good for him for getting that, extra lap led, getting on some nice TV coverage here, getting that car up front for a lap or two.
And Matthew Stotts, he's suddenly re-entered the picture. His long con pit strategy has made him just sort of arrive, but you have to kind of wonder if his tires can really do much from here. I'm going to go ahead and guess probably not.
Yeah. And it's a shame we haven't had a safety car yet. As you said, in formal ARC tradition, we usually see 1 or 2 per race. And it's a shame. By the time I, come back to the booth, I was kind of hoping for one. But unfortunately, we didn't see one. And it looks like Carter Ritchie's in the pits, and he gets a time penalty from him pitting. Quite interesting.
Yeah, it's that same 10 seconds. Someone tells me there's just some weird track limits gimmick that keeps happening when people try to make it into the pits. And if it's that universal, it's probably something to just ignore, because they'll probably all get removed later.
Yeah. But like you said, I think points leader Matthew Stott's running in 2nd place right now. And while he is, actually he's quite closer than I anticipated, Matthew Stotts is only 2 seconds off Dylan Bam. Interesting to see, and I'm really curious how that occurred. Maybe it was the severe undercut that Stotts had on the rest of the field, but later on in that race, those tires will start to feel for Matthew Stotts as he runs a little wide and scrubs the grass. I just jinxed him, got 2 seconds close and said he was doing well, and now he just made a slight mistake there.
Yeah, I mean, even for Matthew Stotts, he's still in one of the best spots in the house. DIVEBOMB is not a contender in the point standings at the moment, as he has missed one race, DNF from another. Or not DNF, but he's not done well. As we have a caution, it seems. Everybody is slowed down. No clue for what, but I'm sure if we look around the field, we will see some banged-up machines somewhere.
Oh, I got it. Some hot dog wrapper in turn 11. Yep, there you go. That's what the caution's for.
Are there even 11 turns here? Oh, yeah, there are. That'd be yeah, that would make sense. That's the turn onto the banking. I think.
Oh, actually, that does make sense. I wasn't even planning for it to make sense. I do see one car a lap down still. It's Logan Cool, I think, exiting or slow on the main straightaway, I think.
Well, he's slow because of the caution. I tried to find a damaged vehicle, but I couldn't find anything. It might just be debris sitting somewhere, but I can't find anything debris would have come off of either. Unless somebody knocked one of those foam barriers onto the track, or maybe somebody else could.
I've jinxed everything so far in this race. I said that, we haven't had lucky dog, I think, to Lozano there, as they're going to let him go. But like I said, everything I said so far has turned out the opposite. I said, it's been a clean race, no safety car. I don't think we're going to see one. A lap or two later, that comes out. I said that Stotts is running well. Next, he made a mistake. So, take my word with a grain of salt, right? We have 11 laps to go, Riker. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think we're going to see some extra pit stops here? Do you think that DIVEBOMB's going to stay out and try and defend? Or do you think he stays out and everyone else behind him pits? And like you said, he's his own worst enemy.
I think Dylan probably pits to avoid that outcome. Because it's a safe bet everybody else is going to. Because most of them have not pit too recently, and tire wear can be a factor here.
Oh, but he stays
Dylan
out.
Does not. So now take what I say with a grain of salt. Matthew Stotts unsurprisingly pits because he's been on those tires for 15 laps almost, so he's going to get off of those.
Fidel Fabian follows as well.
I think Fidel short pit. AJ also pits. And no, there were wave arounds in Lucky Dogs. Julian got a wave around because he was in the pits while the caution was called. As I believe Carter Ritchie got the same. I believe, yeah, so he's getting his way around. Lozano is somewhere there. I got messed up by the leaderboard switching. Lozano's getting back around, and Logan Cool, I think, was technically the lucky dog by default. I don't remember him being back here, so I remember him pitting, but he wasn't a lap down from that, so I'm going to go ahead and guess he was.
Hold on a second. I think AJ just tried to call me on Discord.
Oh, camera, what are we doing here? The camera is experiencing an earthquake in Indiana, as if.
All right, and I'm back. So, if we remember 5 laps ago, who was the unlucky fellow that ran over the bollard in turn 1?
I think that was Andrew.
Yes, so Andrew Davis ran over the bollard in turn 1. That laid on the track for 2 laps. Someone ran it over and pushed it, I can't believe this, but I think towards the chicane, and it laid right on the racing line, and that is why we have a safety car right now. Now it looks like we're going to return to racing this lap as everyone is bunched up. There's one car in the pit, and that's Logan Cool. Not sure if they're waiting for him or if his race is done. But yeah, that is the reason for the safety car, as you know, just a little bird in my ear told me as what the reason was for. But yeah, so what do you think of it? Do you think we're going to see another? Yeah, do you think we're going to see another safety car here on the start, or do you think we're going to be fairly clean like the lap 1 start?
50-50. On one hand, it's easier to make a clean restart single file. On the other hand, we're getting near the end of the race, and people are going to want to pick up places when they can in a race that has... I wouldn't say it hasn't had many passes, but they've been hard to make because every car is so evenly matched here. So we could very easily see some aggressive decision-making, but at the same time, you have to be close enough to do that.
Yeah. I don't think we're going this lap. Logan Cool is just entering turn 2 now. We're not bunched up here to go yet. Everyone is still going pit limiter. So I think we're going to go one more lap. So I apologize to everyone who's expecting to go this lap. I think what it is, lap 19 now. As you come to lap 20, we're going to have it looks to be a 7 or 8 lap shootout to finish this thing out.
It'll be 8 by the time we get around again. And everybody will be on the lead lap with that 21. Too. So.
Yeah, it'd be 21 out of 28. You're right. Crabtree's in the pits. Do you have any clue why Crabtree's in the pits? He's fallen all the way down to 15th now.
My guess is that he probably had some sort of contact under yellow. Maybe he, like, spaced out and hit a bollard or somebody's rear wing.
It's not the end of the world there, but I'm not sure if Logan Cool there is going to be able to
he will
pass him, or if he's going to be put to the end of the line. That depends, because like we said, I think Lozano is granted the... No, he wasn't granted the free pass.
He was waved around because he was in the pits when the yellow was called.
Gotcha. Yep, now he's sitting in 8th.
Okay, guys, we can really get off the pit limiter now. Crabtree's out of the pits almost.
Yeah.
I haven't eaten yet today. Hurry it up, guys.
No, if this was Fox Sports 1, I'd be saying, gotta have your lucky picks here, and, it's free to enter, gotta win my money.
I don't like doing that, because it seems every time I try to pick somebody to win, they end up getting last.
All right, Riker, so we have a lap to go till green. Logan Cool is caught up. So, who are your picks to win here? And why did I say that in plural? Who is your pick to win here? I'm gonna go first, and I'm honestly... Man, how do I put it? It's hard to say. I think I'm gonna have to put Dylan Bam on the hot spot here, and I think I'm gonna say he's gonna win today. It's easy to say, led mostly every single lap. He's qualified on pole, and he's up front leading. Like we said, we've seen how these safety car restarts go, but I have my money right now on Dylan Bam.
I'm not gonna comment. You can look back in previous streams. Every time I say, "Oh, this person's gonna win," they'll probably DNF.
So you're saying that Dylan Bam is going to go out with a Bam, is what you're saying?
I didn't say that. Just a politician taking things out of context.
All right, guys, fasten your seatbelts. First safety car restart of the day, led by Dylan Bam, Travis Van Oostendorp, Matthew Daly, Gabe Cazzola, Francis Ferran, somehow in the top 5, and getting ready to go. Stalling now off the final corner, bunched up, getting ready to go. Dylan Bam, he has the ignition in his hand, and he's stalling right up to the inside pit wall, and we're green again at Indianapolis. Single file weaving down low goes Van Oostendorp, making a move. New race leader with some contact. It's Van Oostendorp. Was that a legal pass? We don't know, because we didn't have the best camera angle there.
It looked legal to me. It was a lot of defense from Dylan, and Travis just kind of getting his elbows out on exit of 1.
What a beautiful move there in turn one. Whether it's some contact, now we have some weaving. One car in the back there, all the way into the outside barrier. One car falling. I'm not sure who that was. It's hard to see.
It was Francis.
That's
I was like trying to catch up to him on the leaderboard, but he kept falling further. I was like, okay, it's a red car and it's not Travis. That could only be one other person. Matthew starts trying to sneak through. He's given no space by Kyler Boggs.
His new teammate, who he just signed this morning.
Yeah, you're right, first impression. I mean, I guess that's not Stott's first impression of Kyler, I can guarantee you, but these guys are supposed to work together, and that's happening. That's not promising signs, as it were.
I apologize. I thought that was AJ there. Their cars look identical.
Now, that would be even more ironic.
Yeah. Anyway, Dylan Bam chasing down Travis Van Oostendorp. I think he's a little lightheaded after that move in turn one, but now we're looking back at Kyler Boggs, and, you know, he has his elbows out here, and as I say that, he runs wide, so he's going to have his elbows out here. Yeah, as there he goes by. And Dylan Bam is there. Right-hand side goes Dylan Bam. He'll have the outside as he approaches the left-hander coming up. Inside for Van Oostendorp. Around the outside. Given the room this time. And back to the race lead goes Dylan Bam. Nicely done.
So we've seen that outside through the S's work multiple times already. Matthew Daly's put that to good use to defend. Speaking of defend, that's exactly what he's also doing with Gabe Gazzola. Nearly make tire contact. That was almost a disaster. Further back also, Jurgensmeyer versus AJ. Rallycross teammates, but not here. Lozano nearly runs into the back of Jurgensmeyer. But they keep it, I think, clean.
Yep, but now Knickel's going to try and run down his new teammate. Kyler Boggs weaving to the inside, weaving back to the outside now to the middle lane, trying to find which way to go. I think Knickel's going to go low as we have a battle up here. Matthew Daly and Gabe Gazzola side by side through turn two. Outside prevails, but he gets on the curb, and through goes Gazzola up to that position.
And Matthew Stotts will follow him through as well. Matthew Daly is just about there, but he has to reserve. He has to concede that. And now Kyler Boggs has made the ultimate train behind him. AJ just wants to escape. He's going to hit a push to pass, and he's going to try the same thing that we saw a lot before. He doesn't even have to break him.
May make a move on Boggs back there.
Great trackside camera, but he can't do anything. That door closes.
Yeah, I was just trying to say, you know, Stoss is able to push his way through the field after pitting during this safety car, and Lozano
wide,
and Crabtree off the track.
Throws Scarborough way off, but manages to not have a problem there, other than, well, I mean, it's a problem for Lozano, but not for Scarborough.
Yeah, Scarborough goes through. Now we're looking at Matthew Stotts, like we said. He's made good time of the little laps that he has left after pitting. He's now in 4th place. Good points day, solid points day, or it's respectable for him. He's trailing right now behind Gabe Gazzola.
Gabe's an important pass for him to make, because that's 3rd in points. That's the only car that's close to him, other than Jurgensmeyer, who's down in 8th.
There.
He's super slow in turn 4 there, and that's given Matthew Daly the Matthew and Matthew show here, heading towards the backstretch.
Oh, he's going to look to the inside, actually. A lot of these drivers do the outside, but he's going to hope to clear him by the corner exit, and he runs him just
elbows
wide.
Out.
He's going to send it back up
dear
the inside.
Lord. Double crossover from Stotts. He's going to try the outside on the exit of the S's. He stays off that curve. He'll have the better exit. He clears. Again, what is the outside advantage? And AJ Knickel's licking his chops back there. He's caught this little battle after getting clear of Boggs a bit ago.
Yeah, and again, you know, good move, and I'm surprised neither of them spun. You know, they're both heavily talented drivers, and now we're looking at Jonathan Jurgensmeyer right behind Kyler Boggs. He may make a move, but he's just using a push to pass now. He has just a few left. As now we're looking at AJ Knickel maybe making a move on Matthew Daly. He's going to send it up the inside, and he clears him in turn 1. AJ Knickel is now inside the top 5 after lap 1 falling to dead last.
It's maybe what the safety car will do for you when he gets taken L early on.
He's a man on a mission.
Francis retired the car.
Yep, Francis Ferran has retired from today's race.
We got a teammate battle for P2, and Gabe's not gonna. Yeah, Gabe's not gonna get too physical there, so Travis will remain second for now. You have to kind of be mindful. You can battle, but don't battle for too long, because Matthew Stotts is there.
Yep, we have just a few laps left. Cazzola is right behind Van Oostendorp, and you reckon with those 4 push-to-passes left, you know, he's going to try and use them in the next couple of laps to get by Van Oostendorp. That's a given, but where is the next question? Where is he going to do it? I would assume he's going to do it right now. He's right behind Van Oostendorp, trying to move up from bronze to silver. Weaving to the inside is Van Oostendorp, and Cazzola follows as well. Left and right, which way is he going to go in turn 1? He's going to learn from his teammate, and he may send it to the inside. Not enough. And you can see behind there, Kyler Boggs all the way in the back is defending. Heavy defending from Boggs, who sits right now in 7th place. 7th place, yep. My eyes deceive me quite often.
Gonna have to introduce some Alanisms, I guess, like Rakerisms.
I should be wearing some glasses, but I am not.
I can see how that'd be a problem.
But yeah, single file as we approach, just a few laps to go. I don't think Cazzola used a push to pass that lap as we move right here. Lozano on Crabtree, has that nose on the outside, runs him dry as Lozano runs wide. As he, yep, good reminder, he's down on his best lap delta. I wonder why.
Can't possibly fathom how that could be happening.
Speaking of it right now, and Cazzola's falling victim right now to connect. Is it connect on the? No, it's Stotts. Again, they have very similar cars, and
get your glasses, man. Scarborough, he keeps trying to peek at a move, but he doesn't have the gears to challenge Boggs into T1 at all. He's just going to rely on him making a mistake or going for a gap of all time, and I don't know what that one was. Not great. It's left him under threat from Crabtree now.
And again, coming to the final lap, and Dylan Bam has checked out. You know, he retook the lead, and now he's at a almost 4-second gap as we approach the white flag. Good run for Dylan Bam. You know, maybe you could say driver of the day, but he retook the lead. He's led almost every single lap today. Stellar job from Dylan Bam. He's just got to do it for one more time.
Stotts clips a bit of grass there, but I think he'll be fine because Knickel is, well, he's sort of close-ish, but he won't be a threat unless he makes another mistake.
Yeah. Now off the final corner, Dylan Bam will take the white flag here at Indianapolis for one final time. As defending for second back there, T1A teammates, will they hinder themselves or will they both secure podiums today? Right now you have Stotts behind licking his chops, and Knickel, who has always been known to be the closer here, running wide through turn 1. I think Van Oostendorp is going to lose that second there as we look now single file. They were single file, and he's right there looking. He still has 2 push-to-passes left to use. Is Cazzola. And I wonder how Van Oostendorp feels as well. He's got to hang on for one final time as through the little chicane. Which way will Cazzola go? He looks to the inside. That means he's going to have to clear him as we go through this corner. Not enough. Late braking from Van Oostendorp, and now Stotts is in the picture as well.
A bit of lag caused Oostendorp to miss that first part of the S's there, but doesn't ultimately make a huge difference. Cazzola, big exit from there, but this corner here hasn't been the best passing zone for anyone.
Oh, around the outside, he may try the switchback right here. Has the run. Will he send it up the inside?
Oh, they're 3 wide for second place. Dylan Bam is going to easily win the Indy GP. And Stotts is going to steal third from Cazzola at the last minute. He almost got second, too, but he just couldn't put himself in the right place. Still
someone's out of fuel. Someone's out of fuel back there. As we had a crash right there. Carter Rish, or no, that was Stotts losing his, not Stotts, that was Crabtree losing his front wing. I think, yeah, Knickel fell down quite a bit, I think. Yeah, I fell down to 7th. He must have ran out of fuel there at the end, because he was slow off that final corner.
He must have maybe had to slow down, but like no, because he has 20 liters of fuel in his car. So
But yeah, Dylan Bam is your winner today. He's upright dominated today here at Indianapolis Road, as we're, of course, waiting for, I think, Logan Cool to are we waiting for him to finish, or are we all set?
Yeah, he has to cross. He is the only one left that has not.
Actually, Jonathan Juergensmeyer, what happened with him? His car is stalled right now, I think, in that final corner there. Logan Cool is going to come home to finish 13th, which, you know, he had the slowest time of the drivers to get into the race. He was a few tenths off the cutoff as he rounds the final corner. Will he make it back? No, it's going to be one lap short for Cool, but it's okay. His AI crossed the line.
The lobby is kind of having a bit of a meltdown at the moment, but it held out just long enough to reach the finish line.
Didn't even get fastest lap. His Bam, you know, he won, but he was close to it, but he didn't get it.
I suppose he probably never felt the need to super push his car. Stotts had to try and make up places. He never. I wouldn't be surprised if Dylan never used any push to passes, because he never had to push to pass anybody. That sounds so redundant.
It's still a good speed boost, but reading some driver remarks right now, you know, Jonathan Juergensmeyer, he's been released from the infield medical center, and, you know, I guess reading his press release already is, you know, he's a little fed up with some of these drivers making some dive bombs here, and for him it costed him. You know, he's running well in points, and unfortunately, you know, Jonathan Juergensmeyer's day is completely over. Gets the least minimal points you could think of as a driver who has made the race, and it's unfortunate for him. You know, such a fast driver leaves today with nothing to show for it.
And we are supposed to have podium interviews, or just interviews in general, but I think somebody, probably me, has to tell the podium finishers to do that.
Don't worry, I will ping them. Don't worry.
I think AJ's also. Alright, AJ's not typing. Like, you're supposed to ping the podium drivers, not just everybody. If we don't need like 15 interviews, my voice is not ready for that.
Well, we can interview whoever you want to interview. Totally up to you.
Usually the podium finishers, maybe Gabe, since he was basically there at the end.
Yeah. I think now Matthew Stotts he's put a clip in the chat. I'm intrigued to see what this clip is, and I wish we could show it. So never mind. It was a wrong bollard. It was the bollard off of the sharp left-hander before the S's. It was left on the racing line, and that is what caused the safety car. And it looked like there's some debris off the track, too, on the grass. But anyway, Riker, I'll let you take it away.
Well, we're kind of waiting for people on the podium to join. We have most everybody.
Gabe, why are you here?
Well, I did say I would also interview him because he was battling for it.
I also have no clue if Dylan's going to join, so I can get 3 interviews still.
Alright. I don't know who you want to interview first.
I usually go from the bottom up and then go to the auxiliary ones afterwards, so I think we'd probably start with Kazola. Also, that gives time Dylan to join, if he feels like it or not. So, I mean, the obvious thing is that battle for second right at the end of the race. Kazola came out the weakest of the 3 links. Still ends up with 4th place, but what do you think you personally could have done differently to end up with 2nd or 3rd at least in this race?
I could have been a lot more aggressive there, I'll definitely say that. But at that point, I was running like 5th, 6th already, so just the fact that I was in, 3rd at that point, I was just like, well, I'd take that more than trying to kill myself and my teammate going for 2nd. So I really wasn't aggressive.
Yeah, plus it was kind of hard to be aggressive because Travis had his braking points nailed. And then for 3rd place, Matthew Stotts, there's Dylan. We'll get to him in a minute. Matthew Stotts, who we in the broadcast caught pitting very early on in the race, Was that a planned pit stop, or was that like?
Yeah, I did my typical try to pit early type thing. Completely didn't thinking about the laps and stuff, and got blessed with the caution. But it was planned, but not
Well
not
planned.
putting the math together.
Planned, but not well planned.
Yeah, I'm glad I got the caution though. Help me out.
Yeah, that saved you and a few other drivers from being in condemnation in this race.
Yeah.
And then for second place, Travis, to once again go back to that battle for second, was your mindset to be heavy defense, or were you just kind of like, if Gabe gets to me, I'll just kind of let him go?
I had primaries on, while pretty much everybody else had alternates, because I had a problem with tire wear. So I tried to go on alternate or primaries and see if that would help, and the primaries just made everything that I was feeling kind of worse. But it made it a little more stable, I guess. I don't really know how to explain it. So I was just trying to keep Gabe behind me at all costs. I used every single push to pass I had to stay ahead of him on the straightaways. And I made sure not to screw up my braking at all. I don't think I really made a mistake on that final run at all. Once Dylan got by me, I was just fighting for my life, trying to stay in second. That's really it.
And then by some stroke of either luck or genius, you managed to do precisely that.
Yeah, mostly luck, a little bit of skill.
And then we have our race winner, Dylan Bam. Not quite. Well, he might be a contender in the championship after that, but he wasn't really going into this race. Where do you think your vehicle was faster than everybody else? What do you think made those lap times so much faster and more consistent than everyone else's were?
I think downforce, I guess. Aero stability. To be honest, I don't even really know. I didn't really pay attention to where I was gaining on everyone, just that I was. I chucked on a lot of front-end downforce because I knew, especially that middle sector, very high-speed downforce dependent. So I think that helped, but in terms of lap time, I think it was like very similar. So I don't know.
I suppose it might have just been the advantage of a clear track. It might have been all that did it. Who really knows? And then I did see we had a bonus driver in the interview room here. I don't know if Logan Cool is still here, or...
Hi!
Are you just kind of lurking, or do you actually have... But, I mean, you are here, so...
Well, first off, I want to say it feels so great to be back in IndyCar after my vacation from the series. The first half of my race was honestly amazing, but I'll let you ask me all the questions you want to ask.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of just going to tie in anyway, because I was about to just kind of ask what took you out of contention, because you were making your way up the field in the early going.
Well, I did have to start dead last due to some unforeseen circumstances from previous incidents. And I did manage to drive my way up to ninth just by keeping my nose clean and just driving hard. But a lap car trying to pass me, I did rear-end me, give me slight suspension damage. And I had to pit, but my pit crew decided to crank up my tire pressures to 50 PSI.
Oh, I love that. They took me out of a Norwich Life GT3 race a while back.
So, yeah. But hey, I still kept fighting, finished on the lead lap, and passed 2 cars.
You reached the finish line.
I have a question for Logan as well, if you let me ask it, Riker.
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, I was kind of thinking I kind of thought you would be better at the interviews, but I mean, you just kind of handed me the reins, and I was like,
pretty much over at this point.
Yeah.
Anyway, Logan, first of all, it's so good to see you back here in ARC and the IndyCar series. So I got to ask you, I mean, putting that race behind you, you started last, there's only one way up, and, no falling back from 16th, right? So next week we have the Indy 250, one of the most prestigious races in all of ARC history. How are you going to be preparing for that? I mean, you're finally back in the car after a month or two of absence, and here you are, you're sort of on the back pedal. How are you going to approach it? You don't have a qualifying ban, which is good, but you're going to got to get some of that seat time back for you. How are you going to prepare for it?
Well, actually, as some people already know, during my vacation, I spent solely testing on the oval, trying to figure out best ways to pass, best ways to overtake, and I think I've managed to log over 2,500 laps at Indianapolis. And the Freedom 75 this Thursday evening will be a great test also to just see who's going to be the main front runners and who's going to be the guys in 16th.
What was your fastest lap?
I'm not telling you.
This is you're expecting an awful lot there, Travis.
Hey, I would have told you my laps aren't bad, because, I have been in contention to win the last 3, but you know what? Whatever.
And the last time I ran in the ARC Indy 250, I was going for the lead when I got my front wing tank off with 2 to go.
Anyway, I believe that is about it for the podium interviews. So I still have no script from AJ, but I will attempt to give the necessary plugs to our different sponsors here in Auto Racing Connected. We have DIVEBOMB, who supports the league via social media outreach and the like, and just keeping the series kind of in prominent anyway. We have SimLeague Pro for allowing us to organize the league in a much more efficient way. They have places everywhere to look for other leagues other than our own, if somehow we're not good enough for you, but also detailed standings lists, roster lists, etc. It's like an actual website, The Burning Rubber podcast, who interviews small-time drivers in the world of NASCAR and occasionally, I think, other American motorsports as well. James McAdam, not McCann, I messed that up before because I was thinking of somebody else, who allows us, through a partnership with the league, to use his screenshots and other video game photography for promotional material. And then the last one, something with AJ, not sure, it's some sort of weird design stuff. Ask him about it, he'll tell you. I'm not gonna... He can plug himself all he wants on his Instagram and in the league Instagram, but he's gonna have to be here to plug himself in the stream. So, with the sponsor stuff done, Alan, thank you for giving my throat a bit of a break, because Lord knows I still got plenty to do this week for talking.
Yeah, and I think we should also highlight some of our upcoming races that we have. So, as Logan Cool alluded to earlier, we have the Freedom 75 coming up Thursday night here, back on the Oval at Indianapolis, starting the Indy Lights Championship Tour. And then next Monday night, Riker, you're going to be in the booth by yourself maybe for one of the biggest races of the year. It is the Indianapolis 250. That's going to be a good one, Riker. I'm looking forward to it.
And a more immediate thing, I feel like I'm more stressed about that than any of the actual drivers are. All the drivers are looking forward to it. I'm just like, God, I gotta sit here for 250 laps.
It's only 100 laps.
I don't know why I said 250. My brain's like, my brain's in NASCAR mode or something. I don't even know what. NASCAR doesn't even do that many.
Yeah.
It's gonna feel like 250, especially if we have a bunch of cautions like we usually do in IndyCar. In a more recent sense, we also have the Rallycross season finale tomorrow at the Daytona Rallycross circuit. And then Friday is an F1 race. I should probably have checked what that was, even though I won't be the one broadcasting it. And there are 7 race check-ins. So there are other ones that just don't get broadcasted.
Yeah.
The Azerbaijan Grand Prix is the next one.
Yeah, Riker, thank you so much for having me in the booth. It's been fun to return in this capacity while I wish I was on the track today. You know, it's definitely fun hanging out with you again in the booth. You know, reminded me some of good old times. But again, thank you so much for having me, Riker. It's been a pleasure.
Yep. And as my throat is now starting to yell at me, that will conclude matters here from the IndyCar Indy GP. Until tomorrow, goodbye.